All right, last day. Get a little review, a little practice. Test tomorrow. All right, so let's start with this one here. Got a scatter plot. Who could tell me the type of association? Need 2 words for this one. Hunter? Yeah, that one would be positive and linear. Y'all, you can tell it's positive because as you go from left to right, overall going upwards, overall following a straight line as well. So that's what makes it linear. So for the most part in class, we've seen it as association. Sometimes you also see the word correlation there. Just talking about the connection between the data. All right, who could give me a good value then for when x equals 10? I drew that line there. That line's maybe not exactly the best line, but that's putting us around 5, right? So you can see x value of 10. We come up where those are meeting about at 45. All right, any questions on either of those? So one of the other things we've done is you could put the ordered pairs into a table and use your Y1 to get like the line drawn on Desmos, right? And then you can see where they cross with x equals 10. So that's always another option on those types of problems. So this we didn't spend much time on, but we do have to be able to identify it, okay? So this scatter plot has an outlier. Eric, which one's the outlier? Yeah, so outlier in this case is right here. The rest of that scatter plot, that's going to be positive and linear again, right? See, most of it's following that straight line going upwards. I drew a fatter line there, but almost all those points are either touching or pretty close to that line, right? And that's what we want. Every so often though, especially like with real life stuff, a piece of data doesn't quite fit. And that's what an outlier is. It's the one that doesn't fit. So it's going to be the one that's usually farthest away from where the line would go. All right? So we put this ordered pair in, x is first, then y, that'd be 280 for the ordered pair. Any questions on that one? I think your test has one where you have to identify the outlier, so. All right, let's get the equation for the line of best fit here. Go ahead, give that a try. take that. Remember, we're going to have approximate, right? Y'all are going to put in different numbers probably than I will or than the person next to you will when it's not exact numbers. You know, if it's exactly on the corner, everybody should have the same thing, hopefully, right? But I'm going to go with, we'll go 5 and 82. I'm going to say 10 and 97. 15 and 105. Everyone probably should have 15 and 105. That one was on a corner. Same with 20 and 120. Then we got, let's say, 25 and 127. 30 and I put 142. And then 35 and 150. All right, so like I said, you could have all of those different, except maybe the 3 that are on the corners, you probably had the same. But we should still get something pretty close as long as your estimates for those are good estimates. You should probably have, you know, you put that, once you have that into Desmos, you do your Y line with a squiggle line, MX1 plus B. It's going to tell you what your M is. It's going to tell you what your B is. When you do that, your slope should be somewhere between 2 and 2.5 probably. All right, so I'll put 2.25. Like I said, you might have something a little bit different. And then your y-intercept, your B, is going to be somewhere around 70. Could be like 65 to 75 kind of range, but somewhere like right around 70. Because if we draw this line, see right there, I'm coming in probably a little bit below 75, right? So it just kind of depends exactly on the numbers you put in. Any questions on that? Most of y'all have something in that area, right? 2 point something probably for your slope, and 65 to 75 for your y-intercept. Not so bad, right? Just takes a little time to enter in the table. All right, so let's look at this. One of the things you also have with your test is they'll give you an equation for a line. So we got y equals 0.39x plus 45, where y represents the total cost of a utility bill and x represents the hours of usage. And then it can ask you about either the slope or the y-intercept, okay? So this first one, we're asking about the slope. In my equation here, what number is my slope? 0.39. All right. So what that means is our answer for what the slope represents is something about the 0.39, right? So we automatically got to have that part. Then what we have is, what's the y value mean? What's it say y means? Total cost. So we're talking about money, right? So when we have the slope, you know, you're using your each, every, per kind of things. What that means is our thing we're looking at is going to be money, right? So that's 39 cents per, what's the x value? What's x mean? Hours. That's how slope works, okay? Whatever the number is for the slope, this one was 39 cents, you're taking y per x. So we had dollars per hour. That make sense? So slope, you got to have that number. You probably got to have each, every, or per in there too usually. All right, so y-intercept then, we got a little bit different. What's my y-intercept in that equation? 45. Y-intercept's the one without the x. Sometimes they go and change the order on you and put the y-intercept first, but slope has the x on it, y-intercept does not. So that means our answer for what the y-intercept represents is 45. All right? It's a y value, so that means, again, got to be money in this case, right? Because y was money. How many hours for the y-intercept? What's the x value for a y-intercept? 45 is the y value. If I were to write that as an ordered pair, what would my x value be for the y-intercept? I'd have to have something. Anytime you have a y-intercept, your x value is 0. So what that means is it's $45 for 0 hours, or you see the words initial or starting amount. That would also show up in there, okay? So if it's asking you about like what the y-intercept represents, you're talking about the amount for 0 of whatever the x value is, or an initial or starting amount, okay? Any questions on that? Got a couple of those tomorrow. All right, so don't have many of these. We've done these most recently, so go ahead and answer here. It's asking, based on the table, about what % of the students have a job after school? All right, Jade, what you got? Yeah, we got about 33% here. All right, so of what? Of students. So since it says of the students, we're talking about everybody. So when you add those up, that gave you 182. So that's going to be my bottom number. We're going to have our blank over 100 because we're trying to find the percent. So our top number is have a job after school, right? Since we're looking at have a job after school, the ones that have a job after school, that's boys and girls it's including, right? So you got to do a little adding there too. So that gives you 60. I think you get like 32.9 or something like that, which, you know, about 33. Yeah, you round it. So that's about 33%. Any questions on that? 60 times 100 divided by 182.